Okay, so hello and welcome to everyone. Glad that you are able to make the time on such short notice. We are coming together to practice meditation as a community. We can say that in terms of the spiritual life or working to end our suffering, the the basic understanding of doing good. Got a few little connection issues here, so we'll see if they work themselves out or not. Basic understanding of doing good means that we have a way to step forward in terms of our mindset, in terms of our mental action, our physical action, our verbal action. We should do what is good. We should not do what is bad. And just sitting there and thinking about, okay, so then what is good and what is bad? That is a good use of our mind. What is good? What is bad? What is skillful? What is unskillful? If we can look deeply into this, we will be using our energy, our mind power in the right way to discern and to look deeply at our moment by moment actions. Because each moment we are taking very small actions, even we don't notice it. Each and every moment we are taking the action to like something, to affirm something, to lift something up, to put something down. Each and every moment we are having a chance or a moment to affect our mind and body and the minds and bodies of the others. So this consideration of what is good is really important. What is skillful right now? And to do that effectively is almost to be a community planner or a project manager. And in those positions, we have to step back. We might like this person, we might like this color or this way of doing things, but it's not just about what we like. In fact, we're not paid to do what we like. We are paid to step back and to look deeply and consider how can we move forward to do what we should do in the right way, in the most skillful way. And for all of us here, as the Buddhist or as the spiritual practitioner, our project is to end suffering. Our project is to resolve this situation of desire, of fear, of selfishness, of anger, of greediness, of delusion. We're here to resolve this situation. So there are many good deeds that we can do, such as being generous, making donation, making offering. We can follow precept. We can stay with and maintain our awareness of the 5 precepts. We can volunteer our body and mind to help the others. We can do good deeds. This is a worthwhile and proper use of what we have. Using our possessions for the others, using our body and mind for the others, offering out, sharing out, giving away what is precious to us. What could be more precious than your body and mind, right? So to offer it out, to give away. As a monk or a nun, we give our life to the Sangha. So we give up our whole body and mind to the Buddhist community, to the Buddhist teachings, to this notion of the possible actualization of enlightenment, to become free. We give our whole life to that. So this is also a kind of, we are involved in generosity in our own way. So being generous, following the precepts, studying the Dhamma, listening to the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh or Ajahn Brahm or even my teacher, Sayadaw Thammasara. Not always fun, not always pleasurable, but we can listen to these teachings. This is also a good deed. This is also a skillful use of our time to listen to the Buddhist teachings or to study them. The best good deed we can do, the highest good deed that we can do, is also maybe the most difficult. It is the most difficult. And that is to meditate. That is to be in a state of meditation. That is to practice mindfulness and detachment. Present moment awareness of the phenomena as they relate to the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Awareness of the present moment experiencing. That is, for sure, not about someone. So that the feeling of pinching my cheek here is not about someone. It's just a sensation. It's just a feeling. Hot. The feeling of hot is not about someone. What I am seeing right now. We can say that, I set all this up, the live stream and the Discord and, to have my phone down here, also live streaming on TikTok. We can say, oh, Bhante, you made all these arrangements. You set all this up. That's not mindfulness. That is just a self-talk, making up a story. And we are more comfortable to do that than to meditate. So the meditation is to be mindful of present moment experiencing. Present moment seeing. Not seeing something or someone in particular, but the seeing itself. And within the seeing itself, or as it is concerned with the seeing itself, phenomena arise, come into being, and they pass away. And actually, the appearance of these phenomena is the appearance of impermanence. Because we know scientifically that even though I'm looking into a camera right now, that camera is not staying the same from one moment to the next. It's not at all. And it would be, from a scientific point of view, it would be ludicrous. It would be completely ridiculous to claim that it was in a solid state or a fixed state. That's not reality. So in fact, this camera, this appearance that is in front of me right now, is an appearance of ever new impermanent nature. It is a creation, or it is a coming about of ever new impermanent nature. it's not in any way fixed. It's not in any way solid. So in fact, the appearance of the camera is the appearance of the dissolution of the camera. Whatever we are aware of, whatever comes up, represents its own ending. To see this and to be mindful is to be mindful with detachment, mindful without stickiness, mindful without grasping onto the wrong view or the wrong understanding. The view of someone, this wipes away so many of our situations. The view of something, such as some event or some item or some mental phenomena, something existing individually. So this present moment experiencing is not someone, not something. It's not some particular time. It's not some particular situation. It is only to be mindful, only to detach. The solution for our ignorance and attachment, the solution for our dream-like state of self-fixation and storytelling, which leads us to be very influenced and controlled by the environment, by the other people, by the mental and physical phenomena. Oh, I feel tired. I better stay in bed. I better not go to work. Well, that's not going to work out. Not too good of an idea. So to help us in practicing mindfulness and detachment, it can be suitable to close our eyes. As we close our eyes, well, we're in more of a blameless situation. No one can come along and said, "Hey, why didn't you, that's my seat. That's where I sit. Why didn't you move out of there?" Well, my eyes were closed. I didn't see you. No I, no you. And this is taught for us as the monks to be very skillful in guarding the senses. We call it guarding the senses, so that we are not getting lost in unnecessary involvements, unnecessary attachment points that lead to more views of someone at some place at some time, kind of lead us to be stuck in the story of our life rather than using our energy, using our effort for mindfulness and detachment, present moment awareness. Now it's actually better if our mindfulness and detachment can be more open, more natural. So if we fixate on the breathing or if we attach to a certain meditation method, this is going to interfere in some sense with our natural meditation or our original meditation, our natural mind of mindfulness and detachment. But of course, the breathing is there. breathing and remaining in a natural state of mindfulness and detachment. In this practice of mindfulness and detachment, natural mind, natural meditation, breathing, and mindful, detached, it is very clear and very apparent that this is not about someone. Don't drift. There's no drifting here. There's no sinking here. There's no levitating or sinking here. Very mindful, very present, brightly. Not about someone, not about some place, not about some time in particular or some situation in particular. So, in this way, each and every moment of breathing, there's a liberatory aspect, an original aspect. Try to be vulnerable with that dimension of practice. This is very clearly not about someone. We can detach from the comfortableness or uncomfortableness, the mental feeling or the physical feeling, with our mindfulness. With our present moment awareness. Instead of thinking and attachment, we can use our present moment noticing mind to stay with present moment noticing mind. When we are seeing through the view of strong thinking and attachment, there is a lot of inconvenience about our life or the situation that we find ourselves in. When we can use our present moment noticing mind, present moment breathing mind, we can detach naturally from someone at some place in some situation. Only mindful. Rather than involvement with the view of someone or some place or some situation, we can use our present moment mind noticing the direct experience of breathing or the physical mental experience of the beginning to arise someone, some situation, some time, some place. So at that time, returning to the present moment, noticing mind. mindful and not attached, not involved. When there is a strong feeling in the body or a strong sense of uncomfortable in the mind, we don't need to attach or reject. To be mindful and detach does not mean to be comfortable. We can be mindful of the uncomfortable. Our mindfulness or our present moment noticing mind has the power to detach from someone, some place, some situation, some time. So just coming back to present moment, noticing mind, is enough. It is not about having a meditation experience. Just be mindful. Don't drift, don't sink, just be mindful. Any particular experience is not to be grasped onto or involved with. It is to be experienced only and used only to be mindful. At this time, we can stop meditating and we can open for question and answer or sharing experience.
Bhante?
Yes.
Provide some more insight on meditation is a good deed.
What's that?
Can you provide more insight and an understanding on how meditation is a good deed?
It's a good question. If we are trying to manage some situation, or if we are trying to manage a community or a society, the closer that we can get to the truth, the more skillful we will be to take care. Now, if you don't have virtue, if you are not a virtuous caretaker or manager or leader, then it's not going to matter anyway. But if you have the virtue, if you are good, if you are generous, if you want to take care, then the closer to the truth that you are, that you know about, the more skillfully you can manage it. When we are practicing meditation, it means that we are acquainting ourselves with the way things are. We are acquainting ourselves with reality. And on an experiential level, we develop our relationship with the truth. The truth cannot be said in words, just like a heart cannot be expressed in words. Even our love for another, our care for another cannot be expressed in words. Sometimes we try to express our care or our love for another in words, and we make all kinds of problems, isn't it? We make all kinds of confusions and can even, make a suffering for that one we care about. So when we meditate, we step back from the habitual grasping and rejecting of appearances, and we begin to notice or become aware of what is happening right now. What's going on? And it's a little bit of a trip, in the way that death is a little bit of a trip, or old age or sickness is a little bit of a trip. If you stay aware, right? Sometimes people find themselves in old age, but they're not as much aware anymore. They've more kind of fallen into very deep habit energies. So presence or a strong noticing, a strong looking isn't so vital for them. But if we recognize that we are about to die or we are going to die, that's a trip. If we are recognizing that the nature of everything that we are experiencing is ungraspable and uncontrollable, that's a trip. But it's also the nature. So we can say that all of the created phenomena, all of the situations, people, places, mental and physical experiences are expressions of ever new impermanent nature. They rely on the power of impermanence. So we know about our society and ourselves are skillful to use the power of the created objects or the created truths. Even you can look at something like the air conditioning. The air conditioning is powerful. It is can be useful, but it is a kind of created air. It is a kind of created truth. And so it has many limitations. It also has many side effects for the body and mind, but also for the environment. Many, many side effects. The natural wind or the natural air is limitless. The wind is limitless. It does not have a side effect, only the side effect of nature. So, in practicing meditation, we are acquainting ourselves with no side effect. We are acquainting ourselves with the freedom to not rely on that which has limit. And there is nothing more good than this. And it has many application as well, such as how we interact with the world, how we interact with ourselves or our emotion, or how we interact with the children in a limitless way, rather than only in a created way. So there are many benefit, many power or good quality to doing meditation, but the main point is that it is a matter of the real truth, the original truth. And this we can call real meditation. This we can call becoming aware of the great matter. That is the great matter of birth and death. That is the great matter of ever new impermanent nature.
Thank you.
The more we can meditate, the more we can see for ourselves the nature of our life, the nature of our mind, the nature of our body, which is clearly, self-evidently not someone. And I like the movies analogy. I like to look at it in terms of the movies. When we are watching the great movie, the great film, the great TV show, the great anime, etc., we are taken in by it. We can even cry. We can even feel anger. We can, truly, we can lose ourselves in media, stories, books, whatever kind of media it might be. When in fact, this is not real, not true, or is completely fabricated, completely synthetic. So it is actually not a matter of that phenomena or that movie or that story, that TV show being real or not real. It's a matter of our ignorance and attachment. So our ignorance and attachment, not knowing about the truth, means that we are subject to feeling good or not feeling good. And we are limited in terms of what we can do. And if you get very down into this limitation of attachment to feeling good or not feeling good, someone that feels good, someone that doesn't feel good, you fall into a very deep state of depression or anxiety or this kind of locked in life, right? This real true person in a real true story. When it's not there, it's not there. And your original nature, your original face, what is it? We don't need to make up an answer, but we need to be willing to hold the question. We don't need to understand intellectually about the truth or the true nature. But we need to be willing to be mindful and to detach. There are many truths, but they all rely on ever new impermanent nature. They all rely on the substance of everyone that existed 1,000 years ago. So we are a continuation of the essence, which is not someone, not some place, not some time, not some situation. This applies to 1,000 years, which is actually a very limited period of time. It applies to 1,000,000 years. And it especially applies to this normal, ordinary human life. This yearly life, this lifespan, this daily life, and most poignantly, this moment by moment life, which we can truly know about, that it exists, not about the certain quality of experience that goes along with it, or that we want to have, oh, now I live a meditative life and everything is perfect and great. But we learn about the validity, the essence of a moment by moment life through the practice of meditation, so that we can really live life. We can really be here. We can really show up. We can recognize that this present moment experience is not a shallow notion. It's not a vague notion. And actually our whole life is taking place right here. It's a trip, but it's also ordinary. So how do we bring these two sides together? Is what life is all about. Not enough to just be a stable person. We should also know about the truth. And it takes time, but at least we can learn to use the power. We can learn to practice mindfulness and detachment. And therefore, we will have many opportunities to change our life and to plant the positive seeds, the wholesome seeds, to do the good deeds, to concern ourselves with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, the community of monks and nuns, or the community of meditators, or even the community of enlightened people, so that we don't need to rely only on this created self or this apparent self. We don't need to only rely on this real true person and a real true story. We don't need to drag this ball and chain around with us all the time. We can take it off and go for a swim in the water. And the truth is that that ball and chain is actually the reminder of your mind's inherent capacity to recognize the true essence, the true nature. Nothing to worry about. This body is nothing to worry about. This mind is nothing to worry about. It is to be used only and experienced only for doing good deeds, mindfulness, and detachment. We want to all be the wizard emperors of the universe. Well, that's a nightmare life. I mean, that's a DMT life. Why do we need to be like that? It's set out for us. It can be laid out for us. We are a part of a community, a part of a whole, a part of the Sangha. So what is our purpose? What should we be prioritizing in our life? Doing good deeds with mindfulness and detachment. Doing good deeds with present moment awareness and the wisdom to come back to present moment awareness, regardless of the phenomena that arise. And that present moment awareness is also the recognition of our essence, the recognition of our true nature. This is what should we do? This is what we should do. You don't need to think so much about it. You don't need to buy it. You don't need to sell it. And it doesn't need to be done in a rigid way. It should to be done in a limitless way, in a freedom way, in a creative way, where we use our capacities and our skills, our positive qualities and our negative qualities, okay, for all, for the propagation of the wisdom teachings, the Buddhist teachings, for the propagation and the expansion of the Sangha, for the development of doing good deeds without limitations. For all, without any limits, in a way that is not just informed by wisdom, but established in wisdom. And we think maybe someone else is doing it, someone else is taking care. Well, that someone else is not someone. And why do we need to give our capacities and our purpose in life and our the great joy and the great potentiality that we have to help and to bring benefit and to collaborate and cooperate and to protect, why do we need to put it out there? Rather, we should bring it to a place where there is neither inside nor outside, where there is neither past nor future, where there is neither giver nor receiver. And this is the great generosity. This is the Mahaparami, the great virtue, the perfect virtue, the unexcelled virtue. Anyone have the question or sharing experience?
Bonte, I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you recommend dealing if you're around unkind people all the time? Family and even. How would you recommend go about handling that?
You are living with your family?
No, but a lot of my remaining living family are just unkind people in general.
It's important we know how to detach from our family. It's important we know how to abandon our family. And the shock to that is exactly the PowerPoint of that. Right? Sometimes I'm teaching for, a large group of people online, and I say something, you are lost in desire. It's not all about you. Or life is not just about feeling good, and that's all you are considering. You are just thinking about feeling good. The people who say, hey, I'm not like that, or hey, that's not right to say to me, those are exactly the people that need to hear it. It's the attachment point that we are looking at. It's not your idea of the situation of abandoning your family or detaching from them. It's the attachment point and stepping back from that, stepping back from the whole idea of involvement that you've created in terms of the family. If we are more skillful to detach and to abandon and to step back from, then actually we can interact with those people in a more generous way. Because if we are allowing other people to disrespect us or be unkind to us, that's also not very good. Right? We need to be careful. Of course, we can experiment. We can try to help those that are naughty or bad. But when it gets to a point, especially when it's affecting you, you need to be careful to not, don't support them in doing bad deeds. We need to be ready to abandon, to let go, to detach, not to reject. Reject has its own can of worms. Now we're fighting against the institution, or we're fighting against the family. Well, the family power is more powerful than the self-power. The power of the institution is more powerful than the power of the rebellion. That's the nature of the institution, and the more that the institution becomes developed, the more that that's true. So the less reliable it will be to use the conflict power or the self-other power. You have to use the detachment. And in some sense, this is also a gift we give to them. We show them the power of uninvolvement. We, especially for kids, right? A lot of people, they cannot detach from their children. And so that means that they're just filling their kids' heads with, their mental garbage all day long, all night long. They're trauma dumping on their children because that's who they can talk to and express. And that's also not right. And I think that's just a symptom of those people being isolated, because like when I work with the children here at the temple, there gets to be a point where maybe they've reached their limit of interest, but they still know that I'm a fun person to be around, something like that. So now they're kind of getting a little bit reckless, getting a little bit, too wild for my way of being, for my bandwidth, for this context. So throw them out the door, shoo them out the door, get the heck out of here, And then they're in a community, right? And other people can pick up and set the new standards and be with them and guide them and share their experience. But if people are just isolated, if we are just isolated to take care, then of course the people, they have some coping mechanisms, right? If we know how to detach, if we know how to step back, we should use it. We should not be shy to use that power and to set the boundary. And I've talked about before, you are a practitioner, you have a practice, so that practice also gives us a power to set boundaries. You say, hey, this is my meditation time, where I'm taking a few days for my, Buddhist practice. Maybe they don't know what that is, but it is for you. You know what that is, so you can tell them, well, this is what I'm going to be doing, so I'll see you around later, if you need to tell them something. And then you come back, but come back from a place of generosity. We are not acquainted with being generous. We are not familiar with being generous. We're familiar with transactions. I do this for you, you do this for me. And so then all of our interactions with one another are interactions of transaction, where, I just care about you, I want to help you out, so I give you this, but you're getting involved in this back and forth. That's not necessary. You just give away. You just offer out. You just send a message and put down your phone. But sometimes you really need to abandon. You need to detach. It's too much. There's too much tangledness in the relationship. So you just have to abandon it and let things process for a while. And sometimes it's for a long while. It's like for a monk, if we are in the very traditional way of being and kind of wandering around from place to place, village to village, maybe we find a nice graveyard to sleep in. But we go for collecting food in the morning, and it turns out that place doesn't feed us, or that the food they have there is not of a good quality, or the people there will feed us, but they are not so supportive, or bad energy in that place. So what do? You leave, you abandon, you detach. That's what you have to do. And it's a natural power. But if we grow up in the society that only teaches us about attachment and grasping, that's all we feel that makes sense to do. How am I going to grasp my way out of this? How am I going to push my way out of this? Or how am I going to change the family? How am I going to change myself? Abandon your family. That doesn't mean reject them, but to abandon, to let go.
Thank you, Bante.
And there's a real power in not even just the action of abandoning. There is definitely a lot of power in that, or the action of detachment, but to know that is an avenue you can go down. To know that is in your repertoire. To know that is in your toolbox. To detach. To leave it behind. And you will be fine, because you will have your mindfulness with you. You will have your virtue with you. You will have your essence with you, your heart mind with you. So you can just walk, and you don't know if you're ever going to come back or be in a house again or anything. You can walk like that. And this is to use the power of the truth, because when we go for a walk, it's not for sure that we're going to come back into our house. It's not for sure that we're going to get into the AC again. It's not for sure that we're ever going to shower again or be comfortable again or relaxed again. So that's not to be ruminated on, but it's to use the power of that truth, that recognition. Not about someone, not about some place, not about some time. Okay, anyone else?
I just wanted to say I made it to the Blue Lotus Temple Sangha nearby. Very wonderful, wonderful experience. Very great Sri Lankan monks. Highly recommended if you're in the Woodstock, Illinois area. Great people there. Very, very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Squid, for informing about that. And Squid, do you have a first name or a nickname you tend to use?
Yeah, Squid's the one, but I mean,
Okay.
I can go by
Squid's
Brendan,
okay.
whatever's easy for people on here. Okay.
Squid's okay. Everything's on a case-by-case basis, you know? Nothing is absolute. I just want to say it brings up an important point. Don't use our meetings here, don't use our online Sangha as an excuse to not visit Sangha in your area. Buddhist temple, Google Maps, Buddhist temple near me, meditation center near me. Go and get out there and explore. That's a big part of the practice, and concerning yourself more with virtue, mindfulness, and detachment is to connect with the Sangha, the Buddhist Sangha, because that's the business of the Buddhist Sangha is virtue, mindfulness, and detachment, precepts, meditation, and wisdom. So Google Maps, Buddhist temple near me, maybe you'll have a good experience, maybe you have a bad experience, but that exploration is really wonderful to do. Okay?
Wanted to ask, so what monks inspired you to walk down this path? I personally really like Ajahn Chah.
Ajahn Chah, yeah?
That's what I meant, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I read a book called Footprints in the Snow, and I would recommend that book for anybody. I'm a big fan of this teacher. Of just Footprints in the Snow. I believe that's what it's called. Well, if you Google it, it's not coming up. Sheng Yan. Shifu Sheng Yan. Looked at some of his work before. The Autobiography of a Chinese Buddhist Monk, Footprints in the Snow. Hardcover is $100 on Amazon, so not going to be easy to get it that way. I don't know. I'm pretty open-minded about Dharma books and them being available freely. From my side, I really believe in that for the most part. Because there's certainly copyright law, but there wasn't in the Buddhist time when we're talking about stealing or when we're talking about taking what's not offered. We're not speaking about something that has like a limitless amount that you can just, it's like Jesus making 1,000 fish or 1,000,000 fish. How do you steal one of those fish? Jesus made those fish for everyone, right? Replicated those fish. So how do we steal something that can just be infinitely replicated? I'm not a super strong believer in the efficacy of that. But yeah, that book I highly recommend. sure you can find a copy somewhere, Footprints in the Snow, Shifu Shengyan, and talks about his journey into monastic life. When we are in the Sangha, when we are with our community of well-minded practitioners, when we are with the community, there's really a lot of power to meditate, to do good deeds with mindfulness and detachment, to put forth the great effort. Hello? Hello? So try to find more ways and more opportunities to put yourself in that position. Yes, come in. Hello. 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 Try to find more and more avenues and ways to put yourself in those spaces and in those contexts. Because if we are just practicing alone, we will be very limited. And for some of us, we need to do a lot of deep work. And that should be your priority, is to do that work. Okay, so maybe we'll finish here, friends. We can chant Namo Tassa, pay homage to our Buddha mind, the enlightened essence that is at the foundation of all of our homes, all of our heart-mind homes, and that it's just a matter of our recognizing that freedom, that truth, that essence that is already there. We don't need to do anything or become anyone or understand anything in particular, just to recognize what is already there, to come home. Okay, so we can all bring our hands together and we will chant Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa 3 times. You can try to join in with me. And then we will chant Sadhu 3 times. And you can also try to join in for that. All right, here we go. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I will also do the 3 refuges. So if you know this, you can chant along. Otherwise, just listen. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, dear friends, be well in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. See you soon.